But we have some breaking news from a very, very reliable source, from the tierest of tierest ones, Fabrizio Romano, with the story that Manchester United negotiations with Borussia Dortmund for Jadon Sancho are now in advanced stages.
Most of the news this morning focusing around Jadon Sancho and when or if he's going to be coming to Manchester United. It now seems more likely when rather than if.
Fabrizio Romano again, he says that personal terms have been agreed between Manchester United and Jadon Sancho, and he has agreed a deal in principle for 5 years until 2025.
It's happening! Tweet it. Let's just spruce the place up a bit. I know. Pretty good. Hello and welcome to Late Night Live. My name is Joe. We are here tonight. And he hasn't signed, has he? And this just says, well, come on, which is actually what we're all thinking at the minute. Jadon Sancho has not yet signed for Manchester United, but it looks as though a deal is close. There's certainly been so much improvement and movement in the last week or so. We're going to be getting into all that. We're going to be looking at some smoke rising from Old Trafford. We're going to be looking at look at the front three that's been nominated for Young Player of the Year. And my word, are they some of the youngest players I've ever seen. That's a bit gross, isn't it? Also, we're going to be looking at a lady who has been caught in a pretty compromising position inside of a bin, and because of that, I want your bin/rubbish football puns. You get it? Emil Heskett. Football rubbish puns. Football rubbish puns, and I'm going to be putting together a football rubbish starting 11. So get your puns in the comments. I'm going to be shouting them out to Alex, and he is going to be writing them down. And at the end of the show, I'm going to reveal my starting 11. And tonight's show, very special sponsor tonight, cans. Oh, hope you all got a can at home. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you've had another great week. We're back in lockdown. Great, innit? Love it. Love it. Football rubbish puns. That's all I'm asking for. That is all I am asking for. How's everyone doing? Someone says Bin Yedder. Not bad. It's not bad at all. What? Trashly Young. That sounds like a young, what's his name? Stephen Howson that would have come up with that one. Trashly Young. The great thing about Trashly Young is he can play at left back or right back. Or right wing. He's very versatile for a trash-based player. Let's get into our first story then. Look at this. I put these balloons up because I thought this week started so well. Came out with a bang. Fabrizio Romano came out with the deal. We're talking advanced talks at this point. And then the deal's progressed. I thought by now, fuck off you, I thought by now we'd be announcing it. So I threw a party. We ain't announcing it, but there is news to get to. And let's get straight to that. We've got applause off screen from Alex. Has there been some good puns?
We've got one. We have Laporta Potty.
Laporta Potty, which is fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. I like this. I've got assistants. Right, let's get into our first story. No point pissing about, is there? Oh, cheers, lads. Happy Friday. First story, and this is from Fabrizio Romano, of course. He says clubs are still talking, always said it needs time. When two clubs are talking and trying to find an agreement on a greater than £100 million deal, you have to wait and see if they'll agree about a final price. Also, Sancho is just waiting, brackets, and he'd love to join Man U, which, don't say Man U, but fair enough, you're trying to squeeze it into 140 characters, Fabrizio. Fair play to you. This comes alongside the news that has been going around that there are qualms, quips, details still to be ironed out around this £120 million fee. United want to pay 70, 30, 20. Bayern, not even Bayern, is it? Bayern, Borussia and Kusen want 90 million up front with a further 30. It's what do they call it? 6 of one, half a dozen of the other? One bag of shit, 2 smaller bags of shit. Just pay it. 120 million. Is he worth 120 million? He's worth 120 million, isn't he? He's the premium, he's the premier youngster in world football. Salford Killer 74. Sancho deal is of. I assume you mean off, but you know it may well be. But what's good to know is that the clubs are still talking. This deal isn't dead in the water. We saw Zork coming out the other day, who is the most science fiction character name of all time. Zork, who is the chief executive or one of the chiefs over at Dortmund. He came out and he was like, "Well, here's the deal, lads. It's just media talk." Well, it's not just media talk, is it? Because some of the most reliable people in the world have said that this is happening. Some of my favourite people in the world have said this is happening. Unbelievable. 120 million seems to be the number that we are getting towards. It's just whether United pay that 120 million in the way Dortmund want. Something to bear in mind as well, we are still paying off Harry Maguire. We are still paying off, I reckon we might still be paying off Romelu Lukaku, you know. I reckon there's still a couple of payments on Gabriel Heinze that haven't cleared. Because who knows where that money was going. Tevez even. Some loan fees. Still, Keir Drabshan's pockets are getting a bit of subsidiaries every couple of months. That's the thing. When you start staggering all your deals over multiple years, you're still paying for last year's deals this year. We've got everyone on finance. You can't have centre-backs on finance. We've got 80 million quid's worth of Harry Maguire on finance. Unreal, innit? Getting in the way. Looks a bit like a green boob. Right. Jadon Sancho, it's getting close. It's certainly a lot closer than it was this time last week. There's so many going on. Let's come back to some of your football rubbish puns. Again, get your football rubbish puns in. At the end of the show, I'm going to be going over them with a fine-tooth comb with my starting 11 football rubbish puns. Mark Atherton says Landfill Jones, which is absolutely fantastic. We've got Binny Bolly, very good. John McBin. Obi-Wan Bissaka. That is a pun, but that's a Star Wars pun, isn't it? But good effort anyway. Someone says Erling Haaland Phil, as in landfill. I like that. Memphis Debris. That's in the starting 11. That's my favourite one yet. Reece Platt, Memphis Debris is absolutely fantastic. Robin Van Persie, not bad. Lewis Junk, not bad. Wastely Schneider. That's good because it acts like he's a wastely kind of guy. Bean Me. Am I missing something there? Bean me. That's what I say when I'm waiting for some beans on toast. Bean me! Next story. Bean me up, Scotty. Oh, and this one is an absolute stinker-rooney. Look at this. Smoke coming out of Old Trafford. I don't know if you can see that on there. But just in the centre of the pitch there is some smoke. And this picture was taken today, rising up from the Old Trafford turf. Now, rumours, the rumour merchants among you may have seen that this could be to do with something to do with this guy. Could they be filming some sort of introduction video? Maybe they're just burning the piano that Sanchez played his introduction video on. Just a big pyre in the middle of the pitch, just to say bye to Alexis Sanchez, who did leave Old Trafford and Manchester United this week. Very sad times, very sad times. Who knows what that is? I wouldn't mind offering a few suggestions of my own. I'm thinking smoke signals. I'm thinking trying to get Jadon Sancho just to see where the stadium is, attract him that way. I'm thinking it's a big Woody Woodward blowout barbecue that he has at the end of every season. Woodward comes down, the Glazers come down. The ghost of Margaret Thatcher joins him for a few sausages and a burger on the Old Trafford pitch. Just a host of people that people generally don't like stood on a pitch having a barbecue. Who knows? But it's definitely interesting and something I've never seen before. You ever seen smoke coming off of Old Trafford before, Casey? The Alexis Sanchez video I did once, isn't it? And I'm not going to blow smoke up your arse when I say something's going on there. Something is definitely... One-man band. There's some one-man band show. Something's going on in there. Interesting, isn't it? Smoke. Maybe Call of Duty. Maybe Ed Woodward's got a little paintball going on the pitch. And he's got his little smoke grenades, he's throwing them about, knocking Joel Glazer on the head with one. Who knows? Anyway, let's move on to our next story. And this one, this is a rotter, this. Absolute rotter. What's he done here? Man steals massive dildo from sex shop and he's still at large. Which, sometimes the headline just does the work for you, doesn't it? Masked thief made off with Moby, I don't know why it's named, from the Deja Vu Love Boutique in Las Vegas. A masked thief is still at large after he casually exited a Las Vegas adult store in broad daylight with a 3-foot, 40-pound D-word hoisted onto his shoulders. And I've heard of someone having a chip on their shoulder, But this takes that to another level, doesn't it? Someone said he just picked it up and walked out with it. A store employee who declined to give her last name, great, who first name Laura, told Huffington Post on Tuesday. TMZ, which obtained surveillance footage of the July 14th theft at Deja Vu, I've seen that before, Love Boutique in Las Vegas, reported that the man stuffed the stolen phallus into his car and made a clean getaway. I mean, it's easy on the eyes, isn't it? Man, it's tales all the time. Walk into a shop, steal a 3-foot dildo, get it in your car, and run away. Laura said the stolen good is actually a sex toy named Moby and retails for 1,250 quid. The only reason it's called Moby is because it's the size of a whale's penis, isn't it? That's the joke, isn't it? The Moby Dick. And who? I mean, let's look at this picture for a second. Yeah, it's not like Moby the recording artist. I don't think it's made of porcelain, if that's the suggestion. Who on earth has a use for that? What could you even use that for? Just sort of some sort of extreme snooker and just use the whole thing to knock the balls in? No pun intended there. Yeah, just roll up behind the pink. I'm going to stop there. Moving on to our next story. Front three. Manchester United's front three, our illustrious, our goal-getting, sensational front three, has been nominated for Young Player of the Year. That is Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial and Mason Greenwood. They have been nominated for the Premier League's Young Player of the Year award. Now, I hear some of you saying, but Anthony Martial is 28 years old. Well, he's not 28, but he is 24. Jack Grealish, who's also been nominated, is 24. There is a strange thing going on with the ages with this award, and I'm not quite sure why you can be nominated for it at 24 years old. Doesn't seem right. Casey said you have to be 23 when you start the season, but still 23. You look at a career of a football player, if they start at 17, 18 like Mason Greenwood did, you're halfway through your career at 23. But you know what, I'm not complaining. It gives us a 3 in 6 chance of getting one of these players as the Young Player of the Year. Let's be honest, of those three, if you take into performance divided by youth times experience, Mason Greenwood's got to win that, hasn't he? Because he was 17 when the season started. There's no way he doesn't get extra points for being essentially a fetus in a pair of football boots when the first ball was kicked. So for me, it's got to be Mason Greenwood. Recycle Carrick, back to some of your football rubbish puns here. Jurgen Binsman, that will be the manager. There we go. We also need a manager and a club name, by the way, in this football rubbish pun. Manager and club name. Jurgen Binsman there as the manager. I'm hearing off camera we're desperate for a goalkeeper. Bud Tered seems to be offering one there. Alex, if you want to get that one written down. Michael Carrick, Landfill Foden, Seamus Binman. I quite like the idea of a shameless Binman. He's a Binman and he's proud of it. Clayton Scrapmore. That's very good. That is very good. Casey Evans, who, if I'm not mistaken, is there, said Arsenal for the club name. Is that because they're absolute trash? Get owned, Arsenal. Get owned. Someone says Landfill Bardsley. The use of the word landfill for players whose name is Phil has been rife in this one. Ajax Amsterdam. I don't mind that, but it sounds like a hamster dump, so, which is just very tiny, I admit, but even still. John Trashy. Manchester City. Yeah, again, ban isn't really anything to do with rubbish, is it? Maybe Binchester City. Someone just said the Arsenal. People seem to like that as the name. Bin Foster, that's nice. Jordan Skipford, it's also not bad. Litter Schmeichel. What else we got? Oliver Trashcan, which I think is very good. We've also got PP Rayner, not necessarily trash, but I suppose it is refuse at the end of the day. Right, let's move on to that final story then. It's a quick one today, lads. We've got to get out of here. Life's too short. This. Google Maps catches woman in embarrassing position outside her home. An embarrassing scene captured on Google Maps Street Car View was posted to Reddit, and the users are cracking up. Google Maps is one of the most popular forms of navigation. Well, I'll say it offers this article starts by just telling you what Google Maps is. It offers users an array of useful features, including real-time traffic, satellite imagery, and its Street View function. From the Great Wall of China to the idyllic scenes of the Taj Mahal, you could have picked two places further away from each other, both just Asian countries that are about, well, I suppose a couple thousand miles away from each other, but the Great Wall of China to the Taj Mahal, a country that's about 2 borders away, you could have picked somewhere, Great Wall of China to the Grand Canyon, I would have gone for. How does it? Street View really has the power to transport you anywhere in the world from the comfort of your own home. One eagle-eyed user was left in stitches after they came across a funny site in the US, and it is funny actually, was kind enough to share their findings online for the rest of us to see, for the refuse of us to see. The scene took place on a residential street outside the front of a house. Of course, the bungalow-style home, don't worry about the home, has a large front garden pathway and driveway leading to the pedestrian path. What, are you trying to sell it? This sounds like a realtor's listing of the place rather than just showing what's going on. And it just so happened that the moment the Google car drove down this particular road, it caught the unfortunate moment a woman had taken a fall into her wheelie bin. Hang on a sec. She's seen laying in her driveway, the majority of her body inside the bin, which is laid on the floor. The Google Maps user shared the funny scene to Reddit and captured it. I didn't expect to find this. It says here, it just so happened to be the moment that the Google car drove down this particular road, caught the unfortunate moment a woman had taken a fall into a wheelie bin. She hasn't fallen into a bin. She's crawling into it. She's eating scraps out the bottom of it. You don't fall into an open trash can that's on its side. It may be a Dalek Halloween costume and she's just fallen over. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt there. She may have gone as a pickle to a, Gherkin-themed fancy dress party. And again, she's taken a tumble. But she didn't fall into that bin. She crawled into it. And you know what? I can't blame her. Right. If I could please... and this is probably bad timing based on what's going on off camera, if I could officially have the starting 11 of your trash bin football puns. Thank you very much, Alex. Look at this. Wow. Look at this. This is great. Here we go then. This is the culmination of all of your hard work tonight. I've been asking for your football trash / rubbish puns. New keeper. Joe Shart. That's more. That's a defecation-based pun rather than a rubbish-based pun. So here is the starting 11 and team for what's it called? Arsenal. Arsenal. Right. Let's get some music. In net, we've got Oliver Trashcan. Manager, first of all, Jurgen Binsman, which is fantastic. Right back, we've got Trashley Young. We've got Aymeric Laporta Potty, which is great. We've got Landfill Jones, centre-back joining him. And on the left, we've got Lewis Junk. In midfield, we've got Robbie Sewage, which might be my favourite. Clayton Scrapmore, Recycle Carrick. What a midfield that is. Messy, but it's not bad, is it? On the right side, we've got Bin Yedder. You could have also had Bin Lidder, which I would have preferred. On the left, we've got Memphis Debris. And up front, it's Danny Recyclings. That is going to be all from me tonight. Thank you very much for sending your puns in. We're going to be back next week. Hopefully, this sort of display of professionalism and happiness that I put on here won't go to waste, and we will have signed Jadon Sancho this time next week. Hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Thank you again for sending your puns in. Thank you again for joining me tonight. Enjoy your can, but drink responsibly, you silly idiots. In a bit.